Now, bringing you the very best in New Hampshire-based local music on IPMNation.com and 100.1 The Planet, this is Local Outbreak. You guys have such a nice sound. We have Slim Volume here in studio, and Jenny is here as well, of course, at the news table.
Present and accounted for.
And joining us live in studio this morning, we have Slim Volume, the gentleman from Slim Volume. Welcome, guys.
Good
morning.
to be back.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. You guys have been on the show. Has it been once or twice before?
Twice.
It has been twice.
Yep.
Okay. It becomes a blur after a while, but yeah, you guys have such a great. I hadn't heard that song before, but you guys have such a great sound. Yeah, I just kind of listening. I'm just kind of getting lost in it,
Thank you.
It's just really, really good. Let's do this. So for the uninitiated, let's start in the corner here. We'll go around. Well, you kind of know the drill anyway. You can each tell us who you are, what you do in the band.
Yeah, my name's Mike. I play guitar in the band.
Okay.
Trent over here played acoustic guitar mostly.
All right.
Johnny, and I play drums.
And I'm Jake. I play bass, and I sing along with Trent.
Oh, very good, very good. Now, Is this a new album? The song we just heard, "Big Plans," is that from? Is that new?
That is from our newest EP, newest collection of 4 songs that we put out in. Was that November? Yeah. Okay. It's starting to blur, like you said.
Yeah.
And we released another new EP we had 2 in 2024. So that one's from the second of those, called Big Plans.
Gotcha.
That was the self-titled track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what goes into the decision? And this is a subject that we talk about a lot on the show because everybody approaches it differently. There's so many different ways you can do it. I'm always asking, so why did you decide to do an album, or why did you decide to do an EP, or why did you decide to just do singles? But in your case, so you released 2 EPs very close to each other. What's the strategy there, or is there one, or does it just feel right to do it that way?
I feel like when we go about releasing the songs, at least in the past, it's kind of been one of those things where we always have the question of you put a lot of effort into an album, and then if you drop it, it's kind of like, you really want people to hear it. So sometimes we take the approach of maybe if we do it in smaller chunks for people, it's just kind of easier to kind of promote it, and just it's not like all your eggs in one basket that could kind of get left behind.
Yeah.
So doing 2 EPs throughout the year was something that was a little strategic in that sense. But I feel like as moving forward, right now we're currently working on a 10-song album and stuff like that.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah. So it's definitely kind of trying to shift the approach a little bit and see where that takes us. And also keeping in mind that I bring some songs to the table, and Trent and Jake both write. And so there's always a massive influx of material that's kind of really easy to get overwhelmed with.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. So doing a 10, is your approach in terms of writing different whereas you're working on a 10 song album, or?
Well, I think with these 2 EPs, we kind of realized they both had a very separate sound, where this one we just heard was more of the folk rock influence, and the other one was more of a straight indie rock influence, and we can listen to one of those tracks later.
Yeah.
But and you'll see the difference. And so the album is kind of the combination of both of those sounds in a little more cohesive way.
Okay.
So splitting the EPs was also a decision of sonically they were very separate.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think like Mike was kind of alluding to, it's been a progression from doing singles, now a couple EPs, and now it's just time to focus on a bigger project.
Yeah. What about in terms of where you record? These EPs that you've done, have you recorded these all the same way, or?
We work with Eric Sauter at Black Heart Sound.
Yes.
Yeah, here in Manchester. He's awesome.
His name is well, we had him on the show too, but leading up to having him on the show, I remember telling him, you got to come on, because his name of anybody in the area who does recording, who has any kind of a studio, his name comes up by far the most often.
He's prolific.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah. So incredible. So sorry, my voice keeps cracking. So the EPs were recorded with him?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, and also on that track we had a guy named James Palco who plays under a name that Jimmy Montague. It's like a yacht rock kind of sound. It's really cool. But he worked in the studio before. He's moved since, but you heard the organ at the end of that song. That was him playing that on that track. So he's kind of a very talented multi-instrumentalist producer guy. That's
a cool way to end that too. Because as I'm listening, and I'm hearing it for the first time, and as I'm listening to it, it's at that part, it's at the end of the song. I should probably fade it out and start talking, right? As a DJ, but I'm I couldn't, because I wanted to hear that play out. You know what I mean? Because it just sounded so cool. Because it's kind of a surprise. You don't expect to hear that at the end like that, but it just works so perfectly, So it's I didn't even want to talk over it.
It's one of those things that just sort of happened too.
Really? Yeah.
He just was playing, and he kind of just kept hanging on that last chord.
Yeah.
And I think we probably thought maybe we'll fade it out too, but we ended up liking it, I think, as just a kind of a weird ending that you usually wouldn't hear out of us, because none of us are organists.
Right. So when you play that one live, that's not there, obviously.
No organ yet.
No organ yet. No. Yeah.
Although there may be a surprise for our next show with regards to keys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's been a little discussion in the band for a while. We've always thought, another element would be helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we may have that in place for 2 weeks from yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of like the other, the other, promotional element of this radio appearance is, in 2 weeks, Bank of New Hampshire stage, we're playing for the Modern Fools album release show.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of the band Modern Fools. They're from Keene, and they kind of have more like a truer alt country folk rock sound. So like the song we just heard, very much similar to what Modern Fools is like.
Okay.
To speak in broad strokes.
I almost think we had them on the show. That name is very familiar to me. Modern Fools. Did we have them on the show?
Does sound familiar to me.
Yeah, or we may have talked to them at some point about coming on. But yeah, no, that's very cool. So that's going to be at what's the date on that?
That's January 17th.
Outstanding.
That's yeah.
Outstanding. Are you guys so all the? I assume like from both EPs that you've released, do you play all 8 of those live?
Yeah, sort of.
To varying degrees.
Yeah.
There's the set list always fluctuates kind of based on mood and all kinds of other factors. But there's
Yeah.
some songs where, for any number of reasons, they kind of like find their way out of the set list, and then. But yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
There's one song on each of those EPs off of Big Plans, that one being If Only, and off of Back to You, Capo 7, that like sometimes don't really like make it out to just playing for whatever reason. Like, yeah, they're cool songs, and I'm glad they made them on the EP and stuff like that. But sometimes, like as I mentioned before, like having this like big influx of material and stuff like that, like we always get real kind of pumped up to play new stuff live. So it's just like sometimes it's easy to be like, like let's hit this new stuff that like isn't even released yet, but like it's kind of a good way to like hone in and like figure out like what you want to do when you record. Kind of hearing things live and kind of like testing the waters and stuff like that.
See how people react to it.
Yeah, exactly, man. So that's cool.
Are you guys playing out a lot currently, or obviously you've got that show, that big one coming up on the 17th? But
Yeah, I mean, I think aside from maybe a busy September, the back half of 24 was a little bit slower.
Yeah.
For us, and we've been playing a lot in our first like 2.5 years as a band.
Yeah.
But 2025 is shaping up to be pretty busy. We already got maybe like, I don't know, 10 or 12 dates booked.
Good.
Yeah, for the
Good.
first 2-3 months, the first quarter.
Yeah. Where do you guys get out of New Hampshire, or do you go around New England, or where do you guys play?
I mean, I think it's mostly New Hampshire, but we're trying to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been it's a mindset shift to be like, all right, let's go, book a long week or long weekend tour kind of thing. Like, there's been enough stuff locally to build, a little fan base too.
Yeah. We are fortunate to have a lot of good venues around here, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of good venues, and Concord's real busy. The Seacoast is busy.
Yep.
We played Boston a couple times, but mostly we've been playing stuff that people ask us to play. We haven't done a ton of like going out and reaching out to venues to book.
Yeah.
Which again is just kind of like a mindset. It's just one approach.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think with this album and everything, like the plan for this year would be to get out a little bit, expand the radius a little bit.
Sure.
And we've tried. It's just can be hard sometimes, trying to get something in Burlington or something like that. Like if you don't know someone to throw you right on a show, it's pretty tricky.
Burlington has a great scene, but
They do.
But you're right. If you're not, if you don't have an in yet,
Yeah.
which I'm sure will come. But as you alluded to too, you're in a good situation where you're still getting a lot of shows anyway because people are coming to you, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you're off to a strong start. But I can also see where in terms of long term strategy, because obviously you're taking a next step to going to, you're going to have a full album, so it makes sense that everything will continue to evolve in terms of radius and
Right.
building that audience.
Right. And I had an additional thought on that escaped me.
Oh,
There's something
Okay.
there's something nice about like hitting like a fresh set of ears too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get the opportunity like in 2024 we had the opportunity to go up to Portland, Maine and play at a place called Blue, I believe is what it was called. And it's just it's a really cool venue, and like you just see faces that you hadn't seen previously, and like you kind of get reinvigorated off the excitement of someone that hasn't heard your material.
Yes.
Comes up to you after, and they're just like stoked on it. They're like, well, like where are you guys from? Like all that stuff kind of like really feeds the energy to be like, all right, like we really should like try and like just reach out a little bit, whether it's like North Shore, Massachusetts, or like just even like further going up to Portland, Maine, and as you mentioned, Burlington.
Yeah.
And then like I think in the grand scheme, like branching out to places like Brooklyn or like Philly, where have like really hip scenes of like, just like indie rock scenes of people that are just kind of doing the thing. That's
Yeah.
kind of like, trying to work our way into and become a part of it.
Yeah. Well, I think too with your sound, you can probably fit in a lot of different kinds of places, different kinds of scenarios. You're not limited to, like if you play in a metal band, you can only play certain kinds of places.
Yeah.
And on the other end of the extreme is, of course, if you're a singer songwriter just doing a solo acoustic thing, you can play literally almost anywhere.
Right.
But I think you guys are with your sound, you're in a really good position that way. So,
It's the thing I was going to say before too is like, with the way Spotify and the way social media work now is you can actually reach a very large audience without having to go far.
Yep.
So, that and that's a constantly evolving situation because the algorithms change and what the social media's favor changes. But, and another thing too is like, I heard someone put it one time, win your hometown. Because a lot of people think like, oh, I got this great band. I got to get to Nashville ASAP. And it's like, again, that's one approach. But I think winning the hometown, I feel like that's something, we've gained some solid followers. They may not make it out to every single show, but
Right.
we know they're out there.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When your hometown. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's funny sometimes. Like I have some like just some of like my closest friends that like sometimes you'd expect your friend to be like, oh, like it's great, but like I have some friends that come up to me and they're like, dude, I've played Back to You like 150 times on my Spotify Wrapped. Like they're like just they're like singing lyrics to me, and I'm just like, dude, it's very funny. Just be like, you're just like a really close friend to me, but to see like the genuine support of that, and then like
Yeah.
the genuine love of a song, it's just like it's cool. Like he's saying, just kind of hometown court thing. Just feels like it's nice to feel like you got people behind you doing that stuff. Like
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, we should, so let's play another one. And one of you had suggested we play something from
Back to You.
from the previous, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do the song Back to You that Mike just alluded to.
Let's
Good timing.
Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay. And if you are just joining us, we have Slim Volume here with us live in studio. And I'm trying to download this, and it's not happening for me as quickly as I'd like.
What you'll hear on this track is the like I said before, the flip side of the folk rock thing. And
Okay.
kind of a more indie rock forward tune, which was kind of based off a little progression and riff that Mike brought in, that was worked into a song. So, yeah, just a good dynamic on this one.
All right, let's give this a listen. This is Back to You. The band is Slim Volume.
I think we come too far to turn your back right now. I think the road's too hard. I'm a mess when you're not around. I spent the last few nights on just about an hour of sleep, just waiting for you there. I'm sick when you disappear. And you say I got nerve showing my face here. I spent the last few nights just about an hour asleep. And I've been crying, baby, for you. I'm up all night by room, and I'm trying, but I can't find a way back to you.
That is Back to You. That is Slim Volume. Everything you guys do is so catchy. Like
Thank you.
if you listen to that and you're not tapping along, you're probably in a coma or something. That's like and it's like the perfect pop indie song. It's perfect.
That's high praise indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
That's
welcome.
very nice to hear.
You're welcome. It is well earned. If you are just joining us, Slim Volume is here with us live in studio, and that one must go over well live too. I'd imagine. That gets a pretty big response.
Yeah, that one's been successful. I
Yeah.
will say, selfishly though, that lyric, the vocal at the end is stretching my capabilities.
Is it? Yeah.
And so it's a tricky one. It's kind of like there's a famous story of the Eagles of Randy Meisner who wrote
Take
It to the Limit.
Take it to the limit, and
Yeah.
he hated singing it because it was so hard for him to
Yes.
sing, and everyone expected him to deliver it
Yep.
night after night. So I don't know. It's not quite Randy Meisner level, but it is similar. That I wrote myself into a corner a little bit with that line.
Well, do you know the story of when Meisner got into a huge argument with Don Henley about it? They were backstage one night at a show, and Meisner didn't want to sing that song.
Yeah.
Because he didn't feel up to it. He'd been partying too much or something.
right.
And Henley was furious, and I think that there might have even been they might have thrown hands or pushed and shoved or something.
That's surprising knowing Don Henley. Usually he's so level-headed.
Yeah, it hasn't come to hands throwing yet, but it has been one that I will say that one is one where if the audience doesn't seem like they're gonna appreciate it, then it's really tricky. Because if the audience is responding, I can sing it.
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problem.
Yeah,
And that's kind of the blessing and the curse of being a singer, I guess.
right.
Yeah, to pour your heart out in like a half empty room of people just like like eating a cheeseburger
Yeah.
and try and push that out. It's just kind of like I could see that being difficult. Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, yeah. Are there any other songs where you kind of push that? With
No,
the
I mean
vocal, or
I'd
is that-
say that's the trickiest one. I think Jake has a couple.
really. Yeah.
There's probably some. There's a lot of songs where we will sing in harmony, and I'll sing a higher part, and like sometimes I'll be like, guys, can we do that one a little later?
Yeah.
Like can we do that like third or fourth?
Get
I
warmed up a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm
No,
not quite as creaky.
That makes sense.
So yeah, it happens for sure.
That makes sense.
I think like with the new album though, like we're trying to kind of strike. I feel like we struck a little bit more of a balance between that energy that we just heard, and then the first song we heard. And if you could imagine what those would sound like if they had a baby,
Yeah,
is kind of what a lot of the new album is, where it's got that indie pop energy,
yeah.
but it's not so like in your face, which is a little outside of kind of like what our sound is to begin with. But I mean, we're not going to stop ourselves from writing something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys play songs out that you haven't recorded yet? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I'd imagine. Well, yeah. I think we talked about that earlier. Actually, now that I recall, because you some of the songs that are going to be on the album, you're playing out, right? So, yeah. Is it a lot of them? Is it quite a few of them that you're playing? Or?
We're finally in a position where we're catching up a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but there's we're always writing stuff, so it is tough. Like the moment we catch up is the moment there's a handful of new songs. Mike, it looked like you
Yeah.
had something.
No, I was just gonna say like with the new album, like I feel like we've played like probably a majority of it at least once or twice live in a live setting. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
like I was saying, it's just a great way to kind of like flush things out. It's one thing like you do it in a practice room all the time and stuff like that, and then like sometimes just playing it in a different setting for like a fresh set of ears is kind of like might give you a fresh idea or like a new like kind of the view on the song to kind of like take that into the studio and just be like, oh, like playing this live, I heard that this could be kind of like a cool thing to add to it. Like, so sometimes you hear like what is missing when you're playing live that like you don't have the ability to do with like four people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I would imagine too, like happened with Big Plans, with the ending, which turned out to be kind of a surprise. I mean, does that happen with other songs too? Like when you're recording with somebody of the caliber of Eric Sauter, I would imagine that sometimes there are some surprises where it's like, well, okay, this is not what we thought it was going to be when we were playing it out at live shows. Now it's the song is like, do you ever have something that's changed significantly?
Oh,
where it's
yeah.
like, wow, this is really different.
We've just gotten better in the studio too, in being able to use our time more effectively and just throw ideas around and not feel like if something gets put down, like it has to stay, like maybe we'll use it somehow or surprises abound.
There's little things that pop up brand new in the studio all the time. Like on the first track you played, Big Plans, there's a guitar solo thing at the end with those bent guitar notes and stuff that Mike played.
Yeah.
And like I don't think we had that going in to the studio at all, did
Oh,
we?
really?
Or some version of it.
No, not even. There was just kind of like that intro and that ending of that song was something Trent had introduced because it was a tune that Jake had brought and kind of flushed out with like me and Johnny like just jamming at my house one day.
Yeah.
So as Trent added these like this new intro and outro, so to speak, we brought it into the studio, and then working with that guy James Palco that he mentioned earlier. He's just a great kind of producer mindset where like multi-instrumentalist kind of guy. So like I was like, I had the idea of something to do with bends, but he really like sat with me and helped shape like this like the rhythmic aspect of that
Yeah.
and like have it be like something that just like kind of fit well over two dudes singing still, to make it be like it's repetitive and it's like easy to kind of lock into, but it gives space for those like Jake and Trent to sing and do their thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, excellent. And then, so you guys probably don't have any kind of an ETA yet, right? On when you think you're going to have that out, or the new album?
I think it'll be kind of like a slow drip of singles. Maybe do like two or three singles throughout the year. Maybe like like late winter and then like mid spring or something, and then maybe one closer to the fall, and then like aim for like maybe like October, November.
Okay.
Seems like a cozy time to drop some. People are kind of hunkering back down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's kind of the target we're shooting at, is like fall time.
Okay.
Yeah, just like Mike said, a couple singles throughout the year.
Yeah.
We have it's in progress right now. We have maybe like 5 or 6 days booked with Eric to finish it up.
Okay.
Kind of spread out over the next couple months. So
Okay.
but it basically comes down to one day equals one song.
Okay. Yeah.
After you've already tracked drums.
Yeah.
So we may need a couple additional days, but
Yeah.
But it's worth it, because I think with recording more and I've done this in other bands too, is like I hate the feeling of recording something and then a year later going back and be like, damn, I wish we did this a little different. So I think everything the stars have aligned nicely on this. I think we're on the right mindset to make this like our best material.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
To tack on to what you were asking earlier about like in terms of the end of big plans, having like the organ and having elements that like are things that like we don't yet have the ability to bring live and stuff like that. I think this new and up and coming album is like there's like a lot of that. Like there's a lot of like really cool elements that like we are getting into or like dabbling with, and like sounds and like textures and like like synth sounds and things to really kind of like just like elevate it. And as Trent was saying, like getting more comfortable in the studio and like kind of like understanding how we can utilize our time, and really like before we even go in the studio, be like, all right, like, sitting down and kind of using those drums that we got to like make demos out of, and be like, all right, like let's mess around with some textural things on guitar, or even like add some keys over it and stuff like that. Like things that really like, being prepared for in the studio, like, hey, it's going to save you time and money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like it's kind of like, to go in the studio and just be like, all right, look, let's noodle on a synthesizer for like the next hour. And like, you know what I mean? You just kind of like, it's kind of like can be counterproductive at a certain point.
Yeah.
So kind of like, just being a little bit more like ready and like, like having ideas in mind and like exploring new sounds and stuff like that is definitely something that's coming up in the new album.
Yeah. No, but as you referred to, though, being prepared is so important, and because you don't want to be it's when you said noodling on a keyboard for an hour, it reminded me of, if you ever watch any documentaries of bands, famous bands in the recording studio like the Eagles or whomever, it always looks like, and if it's a band that's super famous and they have millions and millions of dollars, they can afford to do it this way. But sometimes in these documentaries, it looks like they're just writing the album in the studio as they're recording it.
Yeah.
And you kind of, if you're the typical broke musician, you're kind of sitting there watching going, how do they even do it this way?
Yeah.
How does anyone afford to just sit there and, hey, I had an idea for a song today, and they're already well into the album, and it's like, so now they're just writing this new song.
It's one of those things where we can do that, but it's within the constraints of, we better figure the idea out in about 20 minutes. If we don't, it's time to move on.
Right,
We're going to abandon this marimba part now, since we haven't figured it out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we should. I'll let you guys pick. We should play another one. I'm dying to hear another one. Like I said, I love your sound.
Let's think on it.
Yeah. I mean,
we could either jump back to like a big plans and do like a laying low, or like, I know last time we were here, we did the running thin.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that could be kind of a nice one.
Yeah.
To drop.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Laying low.
Laying
Yeah.
low. We'll play that one next. by the way, while this is loading up, how long have you guys been around? You're kind of in the grand scheme of things still a fairly new band, right?
Yo, yeah.
2.5 years.
2.5 years,
ish.
Coming up to 3 soon.
Yeah, 2022 sometime is like I think formally when we started as a 4-piece band.
Yeah.
Late 22. Does that sound correct? I'm looking to my historians.
It's all a blur,
Yeah, I don't
my
really
brother.
know.
In the official biography on our website, 2023 was the mark of
Okay.
All right.
of the start.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's give this a spin. This is Laying Low. The band is Slim Volume.
I'm laying low. I'm looking over my shoulder. There's somewhere I need to be, but I wonder where to go. Where nobody knows me, and I can make memories in the songs that I sing. Sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes it takes all night just to get along. Sometimes it's me and sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's too late to call, but I want to pick up that phone. Get on the road. Some things get old and some take some getting used to. I know I do. It's true.
I got so lost in that one, I didn't even notice we were at the end. That is Laying Low. That is Slim Volume. That was a good choice. Wow. That's really good. That song, it just, it shimmers. I don't know how else to put it. It shimmers. Everything about it is just so good. And the way, I love the harmonies and the way the guitar sounds. Everything about that is really good. We have Slim Volume live in studio with us if you're just joining us. Yeah, I'm curious, is that one of the more challenging ones that you've recorded? It sounds like just sonically there's a lot going on there and with the vocals. And is that one of the more challenging ones or no?
I mean,
It's a really good question.
yeah, I mean, there's sort of a simplexity about it. You know, it's
Yeah, I feel like that one was one that we had been working on for a really long time.
Yeah.
So by the time it came to the studio, it felt pretty easy to get that one in, I feel like. At least for me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That makes sense because like as I was listening to it, I was like, this song has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been like, you know, kicking around and played a lot and played out live multiple times before it ever got recorded. So
Yeah.
I kind of think it felt pretty organic for us going in the studio and kind of doing that. And then like that was like I feel like one of our like first introductions into like adding like a lot of textural things to it. Like, cause I don't
Yeah.
know if you heard like this little keys part in there,
Yeah.
and stuff. And there's some
Those
kind of
are-
like just nice little like guitar, like little chimey things happening.
Well,
and
that's
stuff
what
like
I mean.
that.
There's a lot going on in there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was our first kind of real like attempt at trying to give it like its own kind of specific sound versus just what we do live, which is like easy
Yeah.
to record, you know what I mean? But then
Yeah.
it's just like, what can we do to like elevate this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes you go record something in the studio the way that you perform it and rehearse it, and then you sit there, listen back, and you're like, "Wow, it sounds empty," you know, or it's just missing something.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's trying to figure out, and that was probably the trickiest part on that one, was just trying to figure out like, all right, what's going to make this sound full
Right.
and interesting the whole time.
I think we struggled. Sorry.
No, you go
I was
for
going to say, we struggled the most with what Trent just said, I think, on Running Thin.
Yeah.
Like, Running Thin was one of those songs. I think we literally re recorded it. Like
I think
what's
we
on
have
that
three-
EP is the third time. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because when you asked, was it hard to or challenging to record that? My initial reaction was no. But then I was thinking back, and I'm pretty sure it's one of a few songs that we've recorded like 2 or 3 times. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
we did Laying Low before.
Yeah, we did.
That's true,
And
yeah. Huh.
maybe felt like we got it at the time and then listened back. Running Thin is another one where we heard what we kind of did and heard the finished product and just sort of felt like, I don't know, that doesn't feel done yet, maybe.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's one of those things we're fine. Like, I think the shimmer is good. I'm glad that comes across because I think that maybe was the missing ingredient
Well,
in the sound of that.
Part of that though too, the shimmer is so both these EPs we sent them out to Wild Feather Studios, which is in Nashville, which is the guy that Mike got connected with in a blues band he used to play in. And this guy's a really good mixing engineer. So Laying Low, what we just listened to, that was I think the only song of the 8 that he mixed that came back first try, like that was just the mix.
Okay.
And he added some of those shimmery elements. So there's some like crystallization, reverb in the vocals that really makes it blend.
Yeah.
He said it reminded him of Oasis.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he pushed the mix a little bit, which
Okay.
I don't know if I can really attest.
It's funny because I was thinking of that while we were listening just now, and I was like, this definitely sounds like Oasis. The song, and that's what's funny about going into the studio or going through the whole mixing and mastering processes. I never thought that this song sounds like Oasis one time until it was
Yeah,
sent
right.
to Zach, who kind of turned it a little bit into an Oasis song. Now I definitely hear it
Yeah.
with the way the acoustic sounds and shimmers, to use your word again.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, very cool. We have Slim Volume here with us. If you are just joining us, talking with the guys, and do you have how many songs as a band do you have? How many original songs at this point?
I think released on Spotify, there's like 17,
Okay,
something like that. And then but plus the 10 of the album that are like, just being recorded that are like, quote unquote done.
yeah,
And then like beyond that, like we have this folder that's probably got like another like 15, like
Yeah.
things that are like, if not half done, pretty close to being done. And then like, it's like Jake was saying, it's like right when you feel like you're caught up, you're like, all right, like, no, we're not.
right, yeah,
Time to keep going and stuff, which is it's like a great like problem to have. It's like not a problem. It's like
Definitely.
it's a blessing to have so much ideas kicking around and stuff like that. But it can get a little overwhelming if you don't keep up with it.
yeah, yeah. But you have a lot of music for a band that's again really hasn't been around that long. You've got a lot of music. Do you guys do any covers when you play live? Do you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What we do,
Tons.
yeah. Some of the gigs we play just require
Yeah.
having cover material, and that's a constant kind of struggle of feeling like, all right, we got enough cover material now, and then it's like, well, no, we don't, because like these 5 songs don't really feel as good anymore to play, and so it's always kind of like mixing new ones in.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, we cover everything from the Beatles to we got a Kings of Leon cover, Strokes. I mean, we some early 2000s stuff, like a lot of classic rock stuff.
yeah,
But it's selective too. It's not like, I don't know. We don't really just go play anything.
yeah,
Like-
yeah.
We don't have much metal in the repertoire
Right,
at
right.
this juncture.
Yeah, we like to. I feel like we pick things that kind of like make sense sonically, that like kind of fit the vibe of what we do.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes it's kind of nice to switch it up with different things, like he's saying, like just generationally speaking, from like the Beatles to like and Beach Boys to doing like more of like a modern song, like a Death
Yeah.
Cab for Cutie cover or whatever it is. Like try and like appeal to all ears out there in the crowd kind of thing.
Yeah,
Right,
it's pretty much an impossible task to appeal to everybody
Sure.
at every gig.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's just like, one gig to the next. Things we think are going to work well don't, and things we aren't sure about like work great.
Yeah.
It's really funny that way. Like just something that comes to mind is like the Jackson Brown song,
Somebody's baby.
Somebody's Baby.
Oh.
I feel like that crushes like everywhere, no matter where, or
It's a great song.
it's
Yeah.
a great song.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the platonic mean of a song. So people like it, man.
And so it's
Yes,
just
it's relatable. Yeah.
So it's just trying to find about 30 songs like that we can be tight on.
We've been doing like Sister Golden Hair recently.
that's
and, like,
another
that's
one.
just
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just an awesome tune. Like
Yeah.
I feel like we also like to pick songs that like we genuinely like love to play. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it just kind of makes it like more genuine as a player. Like if you're just kind of like you really get into it and you just kind of like you really do your diligence to learn all the parts correctly and stuff like that. And like doing the slide over Sister Golden Hair, it's just like like
that must be fun. Yeah.
oh, it's great. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And, like you see people get pumped up about it. It's just like
Yeah.
who doesn't love that song?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Do you do any covers that are kind of obscure that not everyone in the audience necessarily realizes is a cover?
Well, we do a cover of this song called Sin City by the Flying Burrito Brothers, who
Okay.
was Graham Parsons' band from back in the 60s. And the reason I mentioned that song is like I don't feel like it's that well known or in the mainstream really.
Yeah.
It's one of those old kind of country folky songs that like once you hear it, it feels like you've heard it or a song like it many times.
Okay.
And we recently recorded a cover for that that's coming out on a country music compilation.
Oh, really?
Soon.
I have no idea when.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly when,
Oh,
but
okay.
it'll be out. And
Oh.
so maybe that's something we can listen to on here sometime too.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Yeah, yeah. Now, how did you get the opportunity to do that, to be a part of that compilation?
That was actually so Modern Fools, who has the album release show in a couple weeks that we're playing. It was a member from that band was putting it together and just
Oh.
reached out to us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure really any more details than that, honestly.
Did they let you pick what
Yeah.
cover you wanted to do, or
Yeah, the idea was outlaw country.
Okay.
So, at Chris Christopherson, Willie
Willie
Nelson,
Nelson,
anything in that, realm.
yeah? Have you guys ever been on Rob's show, Granite State of Mind?
I have as an individual, like as myself,
Okay.
not representing
As a
the
political
band.
candidate.
No, I was just curious because when you said outlaw country, my first thought was, Rob has a lot of bands on his show. Does that? You guys would be great on Rob's show too.
Yeah, I think it's not scheduled, but I met Rob just like a few months ago.
Yeah.
I went to his open mic.
Yeah. Oh, at Pembroke City Limits. Yeah.
And I had never come across him, and I was mind blown because we both know like the same mutual people.
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't believe that we had never crossed paths.
Yeah.
But the band will definitely be on his show at some point.
Yeah. And have you guys played at Pembroke City Limits?
I played there for like a solo show.
Okay.
But yeah, he wants to have us.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, that's such a cool room too. Rob is doing amazing things. Yeah. And of course, a plug for his show. He hosts Granite State of Mind Fridays at 6 p.m. right here at WMNH. So yeah, he does a lot for the scene. No, that's cool though about the country compilation. But you don't know when it's going to be out. Sometime this year though.
It was
sounds
supposed to like be out now. And
Oh.
I think with anything like that, when you have 10 different bands all
Yeah.
submitting,
Yeah.
it gets a little delayed.
Someone is
Yeah.
in the precarious position of having to email and track down 10 different musicians
Right,
who are
right.
flighty on the best of days, sort of. So
No, I can see where that would be the case. Now, what about so is the show the 17th? Is that the next show you guys are playing?
Yeah.
And then after that, do you have like what's winter like for in terms of live shows? Are you going to be kind of active or
Yeah, we'll be at Two Share a couple times.
Okay.
We'll be at. Do we have a Strange Brew booked?
No, I don't think there's any strange
No
brew
strange
on
brew.
the books yet.
Toucher is on Union Street in Manchester, for those who don't know. It's a brewery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Worth
local.
checking out with us or without, because they make good local beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean slimvolumeband.com. It's got all the details for anyone who wants to track us down. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's funny. Like we got 10 or 12 gigs booked. I can't recall them off the top of my head.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you're off to a strong start for the new year. I always ask too because a lot of bands they kind of slow down in winter or they focus on
Yeah.
writing and recording, and then I see some. I know bands who only want to really be active during the summer, but
Oh, another one that just comes to mind, Matt, now that you say it, is we're playing Auspicious Brew in Dover
Okay.
in February. I believe that's on the 15th.
Okay.
That's with Kara Holbert Howe, is a singer-songwriter from the Seacoast area, and then Tin Fish
Okay.
is another band from out in the kind of Portsmouth, Dover area. So that's
Oh.
going to be a fun one.
Oh, very good. Very good. Yeah. And do you guys try to play a lot of shows on the Seacoast? Because I would imagine with the UNH crowd and everything, you guys would be very well received.
Yeah, it's definitely a different kind of scene and vibe on the Seacoast. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we try to get out there. We've played Dover and Portsmouth a number of times.
Good.
The Press Room,
Oh.
some of these venues, they have
Excellent.
great sound there. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Well, guys, we are approaching the top of the hour, so I'll let you pick what we will play to end the segment today. Whatever you guys want to go with. I've certainly enjoyed everything that you've chosen so far.
You want to
I
go?
feel like Capo 7 could
Yeah.
be cool just for kind of like, S's and G's on that one.
Let's see.
That sounds good.
That's going to be
Yeah.
on the Back to You.
Got it.
You'll go back to that one.
Got
So
it.
this track will be different in that you will not hear my voice, nor will you hear Trent's voice.
Yeah.
it's an
Your instrumental, yeah.
Yeah, I actually had listened to this one on Bandcamp, and yeah, it's fun.
Oh, cool.
It's fun. So Slim Volume, guys, thank you again so much. And slimvolume.com is the website?
Slim
correct?
Volume Band.
Oh, slimvolumeband.com.
Yep.
Thank you. Very, very good. And Jenny, before we go too, you want to plug your website?
Of course, you can check me out and my creativity projects at jencoffey.com, JENNCOFFEY.com.
And by the way, also keep an eye on, you've been doing a lot of media appearances,
Yes.
and you're about to be on a pretty big podcast.
Yeah.
Should we mention
Which
it or
one?
no?
Which one?
Status quo.
You guys know Status Quo? Well, you will.
Maybe.
We're about to.
Maybe.
No,
maybe.
this-
Yes,
this-
we're taping tomorrow,
this-
and I don't know the exact date yet.
This one's a big deal. So very proud of you.
Oh, nice.
The Wall Street Journal was pretty big.
That was
is pretty
great.
big.
That
And
was
the BBC.
awesome.
Yeah.
That was huge. I was like shocked. I was going through the Facebook band feed and I saw you reshared that. I was like, what?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
BBC?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Causing a little trouble here and there.
Oh, wow.
Well,
As always.
we need
Would
it.
you have me any other way?
We need it. Good trouble. Slim Volume. Guys, thank you again.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
us.
Good to see you.
Absolutely. And we will close with this. Capo 7. This is Slim Volume.
running around in town. Blue lights can flash, but we will never be found. And so, just practice your lines, you'll be sound, yeah. And make some memories to forget in the morning. And it feels like everything changes, but the people around you keep a smile on their faces. Cause I'm telling you, yeah, I'm telling you, yeah, I'm telling you, really. And so, let's take it down, and you can tell us in town. So why don't you and me jump to 23? Faces, faces, the people, the places, the run-out spaces, the dreams we created, yeah. You and me, 23. Let's go back in the morning. Faces, faces, the people, the places, the run-out spaces, and dreams we created, yeah. You and me, 23. Let's go back in the morning. And time flies 100 miles to the rise, where the sun's shining down on me, and you can't seem to hide that smile as we tell you a story or two. And it feels like everything changes, but we've had that before, so I will put through the paces. Yeah, I'm telling you, yeah, I'm telling you, yeah, I'm telling you, really. And so, let's take it down, and you can tell us in town. So why don't you and me jump to 23? Faces, faces, the people, the places, the one-out spaces, the dreams we created, yeah. You and me, 23. Let's go back in the morning. Faces, faces, the people, the places, the one-out spaces, and dreams we created, yeah. You and me, 23. Let's go back in the morning. So I will sing you a song that'll bring you along tonight. Without a care in the world, time to catch that evening ride. Because it's 5:10 on a freezing winter's night. But with a smile on our faces, we'll dance until the sun